Welcome back. All right, so 5 games tonight in the NHL. I'm wearing Chicago Wolves. The current AHL affiliate of the Carolina Hurricanes. And in the spirit of the fact that there's a lot of guys making their debuts, I figure why not wear an AHL jersey for the review? It was between this and Bakersfield. I was really on the fence on which one I was going to wear, so I'll throw this on. You know, I did not get the AHL jerseys envisioning that this would be this would be their utility this season. I really thought, all right, I'll be doing a bunch of AHL videos, and here we are. And yeah, the AHL is having the exact same issue as the NHL right now, and it's quite the time to be alive. All right, first off, Philadelphia at home against the Ottawa Senators. This was a battle between two teams that are really trying to get back in the hunt, and Philadelphia being closer than Ottawa to that. So it's Forsberg versus Jones. There's a 2-on-1 early. Farabee hits the post, so he's welcomed back in that manner. Cates then had a chance that was saved, and then Giroux would open the scoring from Lindblom at 4:19. And 5 minutes into this, the shots are 3-0 for the Flyers. So they are, coming out and doing what you would kind of expect against an Ottawa team from back when they were losing all those games. But tonight, Ottawa showed they're not that team right now. Flyers press at 6 minutes, and they just keep going for it. And then Lindblom scores from Konechny and Provorov at 7 minutes and 32 seconds to make it 2-0 for the Flyers. And after that, Atkinson has a shot. That's blocked. So it's all Flyers. Just wave after wave of the Flyers. With 6:20 left, things get scrummy at the Philadelphia net. Ends up 4-on-4. The Senators are kind of starting to wake up at this point. McEwen tips one wide. Zub has a shot that fooled Jones, but it was cleared from behind him. Good finish for the Sens, but they're down 2. Not for long. Stützle scores from Formenton and Brown at 2:09. So Stützle might be starting to get things going too, which is good news for Ottawa. Much better start for the Sens. The Flyers then get a power play. Ottawa scores on it. Formenton gets a shorthanded goal at 3:22. And then the Sens kill the rest. And, of course, the momentum is now firmly in position of the Ottawa Senators. Power play then for the Senators. There's a shorthanded rush that nearly gives the Flyers the lead. That power play is killed off. The Senators would press after that. Hetherington versus McEwen takes place. Good dust up between those two. Stützle has a rush chance that's defended. Flyers get a near goal with 4 minutes left. With 3:15 left, the Flyers get a power play. Good power play, but the Senators did kill that off. Last minute, Batherson has a shot that deflects out. It's tied 2-2 going into the third. Early in the third, Ristolainen ends up saving a goal. Would have gone in. Made sure it didn't. Sens press at 5 minutes. Chabot can't bury one. He was probably tired at this point. We'll talk about it. The shots are 8-2 for the Senators with 9 minutes left, and they would get the lead at 13:43. It's Sanford from Zub and Gambrell. So it's 3-2 for Ottawa, not for long. Less than a minute later at 14:35, it's Farabee from Couturier, and that ties it up. And from then on, it just felt like overtime. Things get scrummy between the teams at the horn, but we go to overtime. In overtime, Sens control in the faceoff. Giroux has a pass that's blocked. Atkinson was denied, but Sanheim was not. At 1 minute and 35 seconds, he scores from Atkinson and makes it 4-3, the final score in favor of Philly. They go to 12-12-5 with the win. With the overtime loss, the Senators dropped to 9-17-2. So, good showing for Ottawa, but they needed the 2 points. The shots, 14-7 Philly in the first, 16-14 Philly in the second, 10-6 for Ottawa in the third. Philly gets both shots in the overtime, including the one that matters. Final shots, 38-31 for Philly. Power plays 0-for-1 for the Sens, 0-for-2 for Philly. Hits 39-24 for Ottawa. Forsberg saves 34 out of 38. Jones saves 28 out of 31. Chabot sets a high bar for this year in ice time. 35 minutes and 59 seconds he played. So with teams being shorthanded and not having full rosters, we're going to see guys playing a little more. We're also seeing some guys come in and get a chance to play that we're not going to get a chance to play this year. So good segue into this one. Jack Drury, right? Jack Drury kind of showing maybe he belongs. Maybe there's a way for Carolina to fit him in. So it's Quick versus Anderson. Shea's denied early. By early, I mean on the first shift. And then Kotkaniemi's not. He scores from Shea and fast at 37 seconds. And it was after a turnover, and Quick couldn't hold on to it. Quick thought he had it. He didn't. Challenge for a high stick? Nope. So the Canes get a power play. And they score fast from Slavin and Podorowski at 1:36. So there's 2 shots for Carolina and 2 goals at this stage of the game, and they're up 2-0. Lizotte then has a rush chance that's saved. The Kings would press at 4 minutes. Here's the weird part. The Kings had a good period of hockey, just Carolina had the 2-0 lead early. Kempe's robbed. The Kings are controlling things. Kings get a power play. That was killed off. Canes then go to the power play. That's also killed off. Kupari nearly buries one. Grundstrom with a rush chance. That's saved. And in the last second, Anderson saves, not Anderson. I don't know why that's up there. I wrote that like I was drinking, but I don't drink. Last second, Anderson saves. So we go to the second period with it 2-0 in favor of Carolina. Early Canes power play. NJ-DET won't return. He was hit by Dursey. So they announced at this point that NJ-DET would not be returning to the game. So, like Carolina needed that when they're already short Aho and Svechnikov, and there's a reason I'm wearing the Wolves jersey. So PHI scores from Levo, who was called up today, and Shea at 2:38. So you guys can thank Vancouver for Josh Levo. And that one deflected in. PHI does get credit for the goal. They had tried to give it to Drury, but Drury didn't touch it, at least last I heard, unless they've gone back and given it to Drury again. Kings then get a power play. That was unsuccessful. The Canes go to the power play. Theirs is. Their second power play goal comes from Teravainen, D'Angelo, and Kotkaniemi with the assists at 9:36. So Jesperi Kotkaniemi with a goal and a helper. Things are starting to pick up for him scoring-wise, as Carolina bet when they gave him $6.1 million. Now, LA would answer. Lizotte scores from Bjornfot at 15:33, and it was a fantastic shot by Lizotte. But it's 4-1 going into the third period. Too many men on the ice call. Kings get an early power play. There's a shorthanded chance for Trocheck. It's killed off. Shea had a blast that was saved. The Canes get a power play. That's killed off. And then Drury would put it away from Stepan and Smith at 14:29. So that makes it 5-1. Podorowski almost added another. So it almost became 6-1, but 5-1 is your final score. Carolina goes to 21-7-1. The LA Kings drop to 13-11-5 with this loss. Your shots, 13-11 in favor of the Kings in the first, 13-10 LA in the second. In the third, the shots are 12-7 in favor of Carolina. Both teams had 33 shots. Power plays 0 for 3 for LA, 2 for 5 for Carolina. Hits 23-17 for LA. Quick 28 saves on 33 shots. Anderson 32 saves on 33 shots. So same number of shots. Anderson the better of the two goaltenders, at least in terms of save percentage, because I'm not saying that necessarily Quick didn't have a good game. Some of these goals were fantastic, so there's that. But yeah, Carolina keeps rolling, and for LA, a pretty successful road trip. We'll see how it goes out tomorrow as they play against the Capitals. That's scheduled to happen tomorrow at 4 o'clock my time. There's only 4 games scheduled for tomorrow out of 8 that were originally scheduled, so we'll see how many survive to make the cut tomorrow. All right, next up. And, of course, how upset the comment section gets over it. I have no control over any of it. I don't. Detroit at home against New Jersey. In the next game here, it was Schmid versus Grice. New Jersey, 3 wins in their last 16 games coming into this one. It did not get better tonight. Larkin with a rush chance fires wide. And in the Devils' favor, they were up 5-0 in shots 6.5 minutes into this. Grice denies Mercer. Good start for the Devils. And for Grice, pressed by the wings with 8 minutes left. Bertuzzi has a chance fired wide. Larkin would open the scoring from Hronek at 15:39, and that was on a nice wings bounce. Schmid comes out to play the puck thinking it's going to come around the boards. Hronek fired it at the boards, and I think he knew it was going to bounce back out. Just, it looked like a set play, and so Schmid's out of position, and Larkin puts it into a yawning cage. Momentum had shifted to the wings at this point. McLeod would tie it from Vesey and Siegenthaler at 19:11. So that's one of those last-minute goals for the New Jersey Devils. It's 1-1 after 1. Second period, Devils press early. Grice makes some saves there, or makes a save there. Larkin has a chance to block. The shots are 1 apiece at 5 minutes. Power play for the Wings. And then there's a cross-check, so we get 49 seconds of 5-on-3. But New Jersey did kill off both power plays. And you're thinking, all right, so they probably escaped all harm. Nope. Larkin scores from Nemesnikov and Suter at 11:48. And then Bertuzzi scores from Sider at 12:27. And then at 15:47, Larkin scores from Chris Guolo, and that's 3 goals in about 4 minutes for the Detroit Red Wings. And New Jersey, just like that, they're done. For Larkin, that's his first career hat trick. It was scored on a beautiful breakaway. So the first goal is basically just tap it into the net. His third was a beautiful breakaway goal. That's the way you want that to work. Wings would then get a power play. Now, to turn the narrative around a little bit, Mercer gets a shorthanded goal from Severson at 17:25. The Devils then kill off the rest. So, entering the third period, it is 4-2 in favor of the Wings, who, as I mentioned in the preview this morning, they have a very good home record. New Jersey has a mediocre road record, so that kind of adds up. But we'd see what happens in the third. Early rush chance for the Devils. Ernie had a wraparound chance that wouldn't go. Suter couldn't bury a rebound soon after that. Veleno then had a drive that was saved. Barber's chance is saved. It's all Wings at this point. I also have to say they showed Riley Barber was given a red helmet for the warm-ups. Everybody else was wearing white, and he realized it. And yeah, so that was kind of funny. Anyways, I saw Barber's name, and I thought I'd point that out. Devils get a power play. That was unsuccessful. And then Bertuzzi gets the second of the game from Larkin. So Larkin with 4 points tonight. That's at 14:07. That makes it 5-2. Veleno almost adds another. Mercer has a rush chance late that's saved, but your final score is 5-2 for Detroit. Detroit goes to 15-13-3. New Jersey drops to 10-14-5. The shots 13-10 New Jersey in the first, 12-8 Detroit in the second, 12-8 New Jersey in the third. Final shots were actually 33-30 for New Jersey. Power plays 0-2 for New Jersey, 0-3 for Detroit. The hits 21-10 for New Jersey. Schmid makes 25 saves on 30 shots. Kind of surprised Gillies wasn't in there. Greiss saves 31 out of 33 at the other end. Very good game for Thomas Greiss. He continues to plug along and play pretty well. Okay, next up, moving along. If this pen will work. Chicago, Dallas. So Dallas, they get it done today, but it's overshadowed. So I'm hoping Tanner Kero is okay. I know I saw the press conference after, too. Joe Pavelski shaken up by what happened, so let's talk about it. Lankinen versus Ottinger. Robertson has a chance that goes wide. Early jump for the Stars in this. And then Kero was out. So Connolly hit him. I didn't think that the Connolly hit was that bad. They gave him 5. They did kick him out of the game. There is an injury on that. We'll see if Department of Player Safety does anything or if they say the 5 in a game is enough for Connolly. The primary concern was that Kero was out when he hit the ice, and it was scary in the same manner as the Pavelski hit, minus the bleeding. I didn't see blood on the ice from it. They didn't show it a lot though, and I was kind of okay with that. So if there was blood on the ice, okay. And it reminded me of Tavares as well on some level, just the way he was on the ice and the way that both teams reacted to it. So it was tough. So I watched, some of this to make sure he was okay. They get the trainer out on the ice. He makes the fist to get the doctor out there and all that. So the sign they give, like, you got to come out here. And it was a scary thing. And my first thought was, okay, they've got a 5-minute power play. Can they concentrate? They just watched one of their teammates get stretchered off. And so, at a time where a lot of teams are playing shorthanded, Dallas, now one of their forwards that was in the lineup, a call-up, out of the lineup and hopefully okay. And like I said, Pavelski was very moved by it because it reminded him of the incident he went through. So it's a 5-minute major. The Stars power play struggles to set up. The first 2 minutes, there's nothing. And then Pavelski would score from Klingberg at 5:16. And then Pavelski scores the second power play goal on that major from Hintz and Radulov at 7:24. So because of that, the Hawks kill off the rest. It's 1 power play, but it counts as 3 because Dallas scored twice. So the overall power plays at the end of this game look ridiculous, in part because that was 3 power plays for the price of 1. Stars then get another power play. They would have an extended 5-on-3 that followed that. So we're up to 5 power plays for Dallas in the first period. The Hawks did kill off the 5-on-3, the 5-on-4 as well. Strome then has a 2-on-1 that's denied. That was the second shot for Chicago out of the 4 they had in the first period. So really rough period of hockey for Chicago, but they pick it up in the second. Early chance for Hagel goes wide. The Hawks weren't getting shots until they get a power play and they score on it. It's DeBrincat from Kane at 5:04. Dallas, to their credit, they answer immediately. It's Robertson from Hintz at 5:18. But again, Chicago, got to give them credit too. They did answer right after that. It's Strome from Hagel at 6 minutes and 47 seconds. Stars then get a power play. It was unsuccessful. Kane had a break. He fired wide. The Stars get a goal, but it's declared to have been gloved in, so it's not a goal. I can't argue with that. It definitely was gloved in. The Hawks get a late power play. That's killed off, and we go to the third period. Conservative start to that third period. Not a lot of action at either end of the ice, which was different than the second period, where it was really wide open and crazy to start. Raffle has a wraparound that wouldn't go. The Stars press while Lankinen moves without a stick. He also made a nice save while he didn't have a stick. Radulov's denied. The shots are 6-3 for the Stars at 7.5 minutes. The Hawks get a power play. We then had 4-on-4 for 1 minute and 47 seconds. Everything gets killed off, and then Kubalik scores from Hagel at 11:55. Brandon Hagel's the best kept secret in the National Hockey League. So Kubalik ties it up, and we go to overtime. Overtime, Heiskanen has a shot block early. Kane has a break. He can't bury on that breakaway. Stars get a power play with 3:28 left. Dallas called a timeout before it started. Whatever they discussed worked, because at 2:13, Klingberg gets his first of the year, finally, right? From Pavelski and Hintz. So Pavelski with 2 goals and an assist. Hintz with a couple of helpers. Dallas, despite their best efforts, they won 4-3 in overtime. They go to 14-12-2 at the win. With the overtime loss, Chicago's 11-15-4. So we'll see whether or not this can get Dallas going, or if this is just a one-off. The shots 18-4 Dallas in the first, 9-7 Dallas in the second, 11 apiece in the third. Both teams had 1 shot in the overtime, Dallas being the one that mattered. Final shots 39-23 for Dallas. Power plays 1 for 3 for Chicago, 3 for 8 for Dallas. So it does look skewed. Hits 16-11 for Dallas. Lankinen saves 35 out of 39. He played very well. Ottinger 20 saves on 23 shots. I think Dallas bailed him out tonight. I don't think it was Ottinger's best game. That being said, I need to change boards. Okay, so Edmonton turning it around, maybe. So it's Skinner versus Drieger in this one. The Oilers with the best record against the Pacific of any of the teams in the Pacific. Seattle with the worst record against Pacific Division teams of the Pacific Division teams. So how was it going to go? Well, kind of predictable a little bit. Although both teams had won once in this matchup, so this was the rubber match and the final matchup of the year. Oilers had the early jump, but Donato opens the scoring on the first shot from Geekie and Fleury at 4:18. And then McCann buries one from the slot. Eberle and Schwartz with the assists at 9:07. It's 2-0 for Seattle, even though to this point, I thought Edmonton had outplayed him. And so I started thinking, maybe Skinner's going to have an off night. And the stats at the end of the night tell you that he did, but outside of the 2 goals early, I thought he had a good recovery from there. He just wasn't facing very much in the way of chances. The Oilers tried to answer. Shots and hits both favored the Oilers at this stage of the game. Drieger saves an Oilers press. Or saves as the Oilers were pressing. Dunn and Cassian were unfriendly. Dunn was in the face of the Oilers all night. I thought Vince Dunn had a good game. And then Bouchard scores from Marody and Draisaitl at 13:05. For Marody, that's his first NHL point. For Bouchard, that was a 90-mile-per-hour shot. So good luck stopping that. So it's 2-1. Sevier then nearly ties it. Sevier is playing his best hockey as an Oiler and showing why I've always liked Sevier. Johansson then nearly scores. Good back and forth chances. Oilers get a power play. There was a shorthanded break for Tanev. He is denied. And then Foegele scores on that power play from Yamamoto and Draisaitl at 17:08. The Oilers then get a late power play as well. That's killed off. Second period. Both goalies were tested early. Tanev had a chance that was saved. Oilers getting some rush chances. That's something I pointed out during the 6-game losing streak video that I did a couple games ago, that they weren't getting those rush chances. They were getting them tonight. So they've started to figure out a way to get those again, right? McDavid then nearly makes it 3-2. Doesn't. Seattle gets a power play. Shorthanded chance for Foegele is saved. Foegele started to play the way we know he can, too. McCann was denied. The Oilers did kill it off. Oilers had a 2-on-1 that misfired, but Sevier doesn't misfire. He puts the Oilers into their first lead from McDavid at 12:52. So Colton Sevier gets that. And the momentum was all with the Oilers until Soucy scores from Lauzon and Eberle at 16:33. That ties it up. So Seattle, who had been outplayed to this point in the game, they're still tied. So they have to be looking at this and thinking, hey, we could steal this. You wouldn't know it. The shots are 2-1 for Seattle at 5 minutes, but they only get one shot the rest of the game. One. So this is where Skinner's numbers might be ugly, but he didn't really have much of a chance to get his numbers back after that second goal. So the Oilers score. It's waved off for goalie interference. Glenn Gulletson, who's in there as coach, with tip it out. He challenges, and it works. Fogle scores from Bouchard and Draisaitl on that play at 8:56. Fogle was pushed into the goaltender. So you could even see him saying to Drieger, I didn't crash the net. I got pushed in. And the air was out of the building at this point. That's where the Seattle crowd gets really quiet. And I've noticed now that with Seattle's record, tumbling in the wrong direction again, the crowds are getting kind of quiet again in Seattle. So we'll see, right? It's an expansion team. It's a first year. Again, Vegas was the exception, not the rule. Dunn defends McDavid net drive. Tanev gets hurt. It was an awkward fall into the boards. It was both a fall into the boards, and he was tangled up with another player at the same time, so it really could be anything on that one. McCann and Barry then had a wrestle, which led to both of them going to the box for wrestling, I guess. Goalie pull with 2:20 left. That allows McDavid to power his way to the net. He wasn't being denied. He gets the empty netter from Cassian and Ceci at 19:08. The Oilers win this one 5-3. It's not the prettiest win the Oilers have had, but they allowed the fewest shots they've allowed in a game since the 2016-2017 season. So that's pretty good. With the 5-3 win, they're now 8-2 against the Pacific Division. They're 18-11 on the season. Seattle is 10-17-3 with the loss. So that hurts. Shots 20-7 in favor of Edmonton in the first, 9-7 Edmonton in the second, 12-3 Edmonton in the third. Final shots 41-17 for the Oilers. This one really the Oilers dominated throughout. It's just those 2 goals early skewed things for Seattle. Power plays 1 for 2 for Edmonton, 0 for 1 for Seattle. Hits 29-14 for Edmonton. Skinner saves 14 out of 17. Drieger saves 35 out of 39. Drieger played well, but in the end, the Oilers had everything they needed. That should actually be 36 out of 40 if there were 41 shots. And the empty netters here. Again, the app hasn't always updated to the actual shot totals by the time I get the numbers up there. So Drieger saved 36 out of 40. There you go. 900 save percentage tonight. Also, I'm going to throw in, I'm doing the regular power rankings tonight. Tack with it. Puck board and everything. So I did go through and verify everything, and I'm going to do a regular. Every team right now is dealing with players being out. Various teams have played shorthanded all week. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go through. I'm going to do it, and there you go. So look for that shortly after this goes live. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.